Dario, you've been IndyCar Series champion 4 times, 3 times Indianapolis 500 winner. You've won more IndyCar races than any other Brit. And you're a Scotsman, which is even better. But, you know, on 14th of November, you announced your retirement. Knowing the risks involved in continuing, that must still have been one of the hardest decisions you ever made.
It wasn't really a decision that I got to make. It was a decision that the doctors made. And so when these doctors, who I know and have known for 15 years and trust, made those decisions, I didn't really have an option. Because at that point, I wouldn't have gone against their advice. At the point of, you know, in my racing career I was at, and certainly the point of my life I was at, I wouldn't have done that. And I've never gone against their advice at any point throughout, you know, my life driving cars. But there's all kinds of strange things happen when the doctor tells you that. For instance, you then can't get insurance to drive a racing car. You're uninsurable anyway. So, when they gave me that news, it was clear what had to be done, and wasn't a great feeling, but certainly better than the alternatives. Absolutely.
I get the impression that perhaps it's the same determination that earned you your success that is allowing you to accept that decision.
Yeah, I suppose it may be. I don't know. I mean, you have to make the best of a situation, don't you? I don't have any option.
Sure.
So it's not. Let's be honest. It's not the worst thing. I had a great time racing Indy cars for a long period. Got to win more than I ever thought I would. It's given me things in life and a lifestyle that I never could have imagined. And it's been really, really good. So the fact I've had to stop driving is not the best thing, but the alternatives were not great.
Now I see that you're now consultant to Target Chip Ganassi Racing. What does that involve?
A lot of different things, really. You know, working with the drivers, particularly right now Tony Kanaan, because he's new to the Target team. Tony and I have worked together a lot in the past, so helping Tony fit into the team, the system, how they engineer the cars, you know, helping with communication a little bit, working with, as I said, working with the engineers, working with the drivers, working with the sponsors, doing events with Target still, and our other sponsors, and really whatever is required of me. It's something that changes a bit because it's a new job. The team have never had anybody in this position before. I've never done this before, so it changes a little bit day to day. I'm heading off on Wednesday to Indianapolis for a month, really, and I'll be there every day, you know, just sort of helping out on track and off with the team for the whole month, both on the Grand Prix track and then on the oval for the 500.
I noticed that, just having a quick look at the history there, that you did NASCAR in 2008. Was that a happy time, or was it?
No, that was a terrible time, to be honest. No, I'd done something, I'd made a change without really understanding what I was doing. I had never been to a NASCAR race. I'd never driven a stock car, and I made this move, and it became apparent pretty quickly it was going to be a massive change. Anything I'd learned in my life driving racing cars didn't translate into driving this stock car, so I had to relearn a lot of stuff. Wasn't driving particularly good equipment, and it was a hell of a learning experience, but I did learn a lot from it that I was able to bring back to Indy cars. And you know, when I came back and got to drive with the Target team, it was a really happy time, and I managed to enjoy a lot of success with the team, so that was good.
You started your racing career in the UK at the age of 9 in karts. You then went on to Formula Vauxhall, Formula 3. Did you race Formula Ford?
No, didn't race Formula Ford. As I was in 1990, as we were deciding what we were going to do, and I would agreed that I was going to drive for David Leslie Racing, Vauxhall announced they were going to have a championship called Vauxhall Junior, and so I did that. Did Vauxhall Junior, Vauxhall Lotus, then Formula 3. So that was the path I took. So I never got to do the Formula Ford Festival or any of that stuff, which was a shame, but I really enjoyed driving the Formula Vauxhall Junior. I've got it in the house, and hopefully get it restored and take it for a run round Knockhill for old time's sake at some point.
That would be fantastic to see.
It would be fun.
Now that kind of leads me though on to what you're doing now here in Scotland with Formula Ford, with Kieran Haggerty with the new Ray. That's I think an incredibly generous move.
Well, I love being at the track here. I said that I've been up here the last 3 days, really, just hanging out with Graham, Craig, Heather, and all the guys at Graham Brunton Racing, just having some fun. And my godson Sebastian Melrose is driving one of the cars too, so I've been up watching him practice. So I just love being at the racing track, and so it's fun when I've got time at home to just come up and hang out. The thing with Kieran really started at this SMRC dinner. I thought Kieran made an incredibly generous gesture. Ryan Dale had helped Kieran last year and before that, and Kieran won, I believe it was the Hartley or Sheila White Trophy, and the prize was something like £750, and Kieran's saving up for his first road car. He's looking for a budget to go racing. He gave the money to Ryan to go towards Rett syndrome and find the cure for Rett syndrome, which is something that Ryan's really passionate about. And I just thought it was such a nice, kind gesture from Kieran, and a big sacrifice for him. And I said to Graham, what can I do to help? And he said, well, we really need a car. So I was in a position that I could help, and I'm really, really happy to do it. And I love coming up and being part of it, and you know, watching Kieran do his stuff, and just give him a chance to have some fun and to go racing. And it's even better now, as I said, that Seb's up here doing it too, so I can watch them both and have some fun.
Good. Well, from that I move on to the slightly banal question, because I was looking at your website, and it's you talk about movies, and you talk about Grand Prix, and you talk about Le Mans. Have you seen Rush? What did you think?
I thought Rush was great. The racing scenes were not great for any purist,
sure,
but as a film it was fantastic. It was so entertaining. The actors were brilliant. The story, I mean, 99% of it was factual. It was amazing. What a great advert for Grand Prix racing at that time. What amazing characters with Lauda and Hunt, but as I say, the acting was just superb. And I remember as a really small boy, that was kind of when my love of racing started, with those Formula One cars of that period with the big, huge Goodyear slick tyres and stuff like that. And I really enjoyed the film, and I thought it was a fitting continuation of the great films like Grand Prix and Le Mans, which had great racing footage but crap stories, where this had a great story but crap racing footage, so you can't have everything. But no, really enjoyable.
I think perhaps too it would be fair to say that for the non-enthusiast, the fact that the racing footage wasn't great shouldn't really matter. It's the story that counts for them, and maybe if it drags them in and makes them take an interest in the sport.
I think you're absolutely right. Nobody would notice that apart from us purists, and but the story would grab people, and it has grabbed them. And I think Ron Howard, the fact that he did the direction and stuff, yeah, really it had everything. So that was, I think, really it was a great thing for motor racing.
Well, to continue with your present situation as consultant with TCG Hub, what have you got in terms of future plans? I'm thinking maybe you fancy doing a bit of movie consultancy.
Well, I did a bit of consulting with the animated film Turbo. Going forward, I mean, the TCGR thing is a big part of life. I'm going to, I think, 9 races this year with them. I still do stuff with Honda as an ambassador for them with their street cars. TW Steel watches, I'm still involved with them. They have a Dario Franchitti edition watch, and so I still do stuff with those guys. I'm now doing I'm an ambassador for a thing called SafeIsFast.com, and that's online tutorials for racing. So anybody that's interested in racing, whether it's driving or being mechanics or the PR side, any part of it, you can go on there, and drivers, including myself, Alexander Wirtz, Jensen Button, a lot of the IndyCar drivers, the sports car drivers, will be asked questions and do this tutorial online. So I'm doing that as well. So I'm keeping pretty busy, but I'm also trying to keep time for myself, because my schedule for the last 15 years has been ridiculous. So it's nice to have some time off to be home in Scotland and able to enjoy it and catch up with my friends and my family, and you know, just enjoy being home.
Dario, thanks very much for your time.
No worries.
Appreciate you coming along, and I must say that I think all of us really appreciate you being around Knockhill.
Oh, thank you.